Welcome back to the Movement for Life podcast. My name is Kolby, Krystofik, the owner operator of Oxstar Movement and CrossFit Ventura, and your host here for the Movement for Life podcast. We talk about ways that keep us moving throughout our life. Today, I've got another short episode. I've kind of been brainstorming. We're coming up on 52 episodes of the Movement for Life podcast. And I kind of want to brainstorm, hey, what's the direction of this going to look like and go into coming into 2025? What are we going to continue to do with this? And something that I've kind of been thinking about a little bit is, the entire goal of this is to talk about ways that we can continue to stay active and move throughout our lifestyle. And I want to do a little period or a little season of some inspiring stories, some things that get us motivated and inspired to get up and make those changes or to continue doing something even when we lose motivation. And so I did a little bit of searching around on the internet to find out some inspiring stories on kind of how fitness has changed or saved people's lives. There's thousands and thousands of stories like this. I want to read just a couple of them to you guys today. I think I want to spend some time early in 2025 really getting to know, some of our community, some of our members' stories. And I want to learn or hear about inspiring stories from you guys. I want to know, how has fitness saved your life or changed your life in ways that potentially could be inspiring to somebody who might be going through something similar to you. I think that is a super powerful thing. We've got 3 core tenets here at Oxstar Movement, CrossFit Ventura: inspire, educate, and lead. Inspiration is a massive foundation for creating change inside our communities. Change has to happen from inspiration. Dale Carnegie, a quick little side note here. Let me think about it. It is: a man convinced against his will is still of the same opinion. Oh, I can't believe I remember that. A man convinced against his will is still of the same opinion. So if our goal is to create culture, to create change for happier, healthier lives, I can't force people into that sort of thing. And neither can you, neither can anybody else. We have to be inspired into change. We have to be inspired and looked up to in order to change our opinion, to change our behaviors, to change our culture. We need to be inspired to do that. And that's one of the biggest reasons that inspire is part of our one of our 3 pillars for our vision here at Oxstar Movement CrossFit Ventura. And those start with stories of people. So I want to talk about that today with a few stories of people that I don't know. I read these stories today and I got fired up, and hopefully it fires you up a little bit as well. But I really want to dive into stories of you guys and our community and our local people. And it doesn't have to be CrossFit. Yes, we are a CrossFit gym here at Oxstar Movement. Yes, we're a CrossFit gym at CrossFit Ventura. But I want to know inspiring stories about anybody that you know, whether they do boot camp or 24-hour fitness, or they decided to run on their own. They've never talked to a coach or a mentor ever in their lives. I want to talk to those people at some point in the Movement for Life podcast early in the 2025 season. I want to have a collection of those to meet with people, to talk with people, and honestly be inspired myself, but hopefully inspire all of you guys as well. So the first couple of stories that I want to talk about here. The first one, the title is After Countless Suicide Attempts, an Exercise Prescription Saved My Life. This is a guy named Aaron Murray. This is back in 2021 from this story. So I kind of want to just read it a little bit. And here we go. This is written in first person. This is Aaron writing about himself here. I can't remember how many times I've tried to take my own life, but I do remember the first. I was 15 and I ended up being rushed into the hospital in the early hours of the morning before being released later again that day. My mom was devastated. I felt terrible for upsetting her, but I still couldn't explain why I had done it. Depression is like that. It's a dark cloud descending over your mind, often for no reason. When things were going well, I was fun-time Frankie, with a reputation as a cheeky wit git, often the light of the party and the soul of the room. But when dark days hit, I felt like I was sliding straight into a black hole. During my 20s, I attempted suicide at least half a dozen times. I was given a diagnosis of depression, but having a name for my condition didn't make it any easier for me to find a way. I was in and out of the hospital. Medical staff were always very kind, but follow-up and support was limited. By the time I had reached my 30s, I was struggling to keep a job. There was lots of days when I was mentally not fit to work. I remember one time trying to hold down a position as a sales account manager and having to take myself off to the toilets to have timeouts. I desperately needed support, but it was super hard to find. I lost count of the number of hours that I've sat on the phone to various helplines. One afternoon, I called 4 different support services, and they were either engaged or there was no one available to speak to me. One charity said they could book me an appointment with a counselor, but the waiting list was months long. When you've hit a crisis point, you don't have months to wait. Then there's the cost. NHS waiting lists are huge, but if you can go private, it can cost around 40 to 60 pounds per appointment. If you're struggling to hold down a job, it's unaffordable, and it's a vicious cycle. Of course, I've tried medication. I've found so many types of antidepressants, but none of them seem to help. By the time I was 38, I was still struggling. One particular day, I was back at my general practitioner. I'd seen him dozens of times at this point, begging him for help again. He prescribed me a free 12-week exercise program and a gym membership. I didn't really understand why he thought that this could help me. I wasn't into exercise. The only running I considered doing was off the license. Still, although I was nervous, I decided to give it a try. When I was first walked into the gym 2 weeks later, I instantly hated it. I had no idea how the machines worked, and everyone else seemed to know exactly what they were doing. I was dressed in the wrong stuff, Bermuda shorts and a t-shirt, and I felt embarrassed and awkward. I didn't dare leave, though, because I assumed the general practitioner would be checking up on me. It sounds weird now, but I thought I'd be in trouble if I had walked out. I had an introduction with a personal trainer who showed me the equipment, wrote me a personal plan, and I started on an exercise bike because it was something I recognized. I began going 2 or 3 times a week, working out for an hour at a time. After about 3 weeks, I suddenly realized that I was starting to enjoy it. Instead of dreading my sessions, I was kind of looking forward to them. Exercise was giving me an outlet and something to focus on, and the gym was a place where I found headspace. I joined a few classes and started chatting to people. 6 months later, I was attending all kinds of classes, from yoga to spin, and I'd created a whole new social circle. My interest in exercise had been piqued, and with my mood and my motivations higher than they had ever been before, I decided to look into personal training qualifications. I wanted to know more about why I was feeling so good. I soon took my level 2 fitness instructor and level 3 personal trainer qualifications, becoming a personal trainer. I was determined to show other people what exercise could do for them. My family also saw this change in me. I had a spring in my step, and my outlook was brighter. I was finally starting to look after myself. I vividly remember after 2 years of going to the gym, when I was training for my level 3, my dad telling me he was proud of me. It always had stayed with me. It was one of the lasting things that he had ever said to me. In July 2018, we were hit by heartbreak. Dad had always loved his cars, and he was killed in a tragic accident while working on his vehicle. The day of this funeral knocked me sideways, and the days that followed, I made my final suicide attempt. When I survived, it was the moment that I decided enough was enough. Dad wouldn't want me to spiral into darkness, so I focused on my training. Oh man. I went back to college to train for a diploma in exercise referrals for fitness professionals. I was seeing guys coming into the gym with the same issues I had when I started, so I was on a mission. Getting that qualification will mean that as a PT, I can accept referrals from a general practitioner. I'm aiming to sit my final exam this spring, and I'll have come full circle, going from being the person who got prescribed exercise to being the one that can provide support. Depression makes you selfish, but you can flip the coin. I've discovered that I really enjoy helping people, and it helps me get out of my own head too. During the pandemic, I've been running PT sessions in my local park whenever possible. I have nurses, healthcare staff, and people working from home or even homeschooling all coming together to give themselves get fresh air and give themselves a boost. I still have dark days. Depression isn't a thing that just goes away. I know now how to help myself and feel confident and I'll never hit rock bottom again. I'm telling my story in the hopes that it might help someone else out there. Poor mental health, especially in men, is an epidemic. Just look at the statistics. In 2019, there was over 4,000 deaths, male deaths due to suicide. The most of them in any year since 2000. It's a tragedy. My advice to anyone who's struggling to get out in the fresh air and get moving. If possible, do it with company. A big part of exercise for me is being around other people. Reach out to somebody and talk. Don't suffer in silence. We really are all in this together. That was the story of Erin Murray. Let's look at another one. All right, this one is a gal named Hope and how fitness saved her life. This is kind of a fun and cool story as well. Here at The Edge, we're lucky enough to have incredible fitness trainers who embody hope. You know Hope as a rock star fitness instructor, but like most superheroes, so this was written by Emily Webster about one of the fitness trainers at their gym. You know Hope as a rock star fitness instructor, but like all superheroes, Hope has an original story. Hope came to fitness not only through her own interest by witnessing her father deal with heart attacks, triple bypass, and multiple open heart surgeries. I didn't want to end up with a big scar down my chest. Hope was always a girl on fire. She was a cheerleader in high school, a theater major in college, and even a mascot for a professional football team. She actually joined a gym to meet boys, but instead fell in love with lifting. She found a passion for spinning, post-baby number 2, and has been teaching for almost 20 years now. We find hope when things get tough, and for Hope, she found faith in her training and her strength during times of turmoil. At age 50, after complaining for 6 years to her doctors that she was feeling fatigued and her breathing was off, a new doctor informed me that I had been born with a congenital heart defect called bicuspid aortic valve, and it had now developed into an aneurysm. I was being told that I was about to get a scar down my chest, just like my dad. Hope's story, however, proves that it is what we do consistently that counts. Hope may have been born with a bad valve, but her good habits may have saved her life. Hope's surgeon assured her that it was her healthy heart that had kept her alive for this long. Hope was in good shape, but learned that having a good body was much more than skin deep. When people asked me what I was training for, the answer was always life. This was true then, and 3 years later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Discipline is a daily practice for Hope, and her commitment to fitness aided her in recovery in a powerful way. Let's just say I got zapped with the proton 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. and still worked every day. I even taught spin. Hope credits spinning for the reason her heart is so strong. As a trainer, Hope is naturally built to inspire others. On March 8th, she'll be spinning at the Philly Spin and Children's Hospital for kids born with CHD and heart disease, coronary heart disease and heart disease. So the third year, our team is going to be called Hope Heart Strong. I wear my scar on my chest like a Medal of Honor, and I'm so honored to be part of this event with my little warriors. We at the edge of Plymouth meeting are honored that Hope brings this megawatt of energy to every class that she teaches. A single mom of two, powerhouse trainers, reminded that exercise is a gift we give to our bodies. Every time we work out, we are celebrating our bodies, what our bodies are capable, and Hope's story is one to be celebrated. I believe that someone is lying in bed wishing they were healthy enough to exercise. I'm cancer-free, my heart's pumping, and I wake up every day on the right side of the ground. Both of these are life-threatening events in my life just reassured me how lucky I am to keep hitting the gym, spinning, and preaching heart health, especially to women. We look forward to having more of your inspiring preaches. Hope. This is another one, and maybe I can read one more here. We've got enough time. Okay, this one is called Fitness Saved My Life Twice. Exercise helps women overcome bulimia and a car accident. I've actually met, this is a story by Andrea Logan, and I've actually met Andrea a couple of times in Malibu, and so I didn't know that this was part of her story. I've met her while I was training at CrossFit Malibu, so this is kind of cool. Fitness is a lot of things to everybody. People want to stay thin or just want to be able to enjoy food or look nice in their clothes or compete. Fitness for me is so different. It saved my life twice. It actually changed my whole life. I was a top athlete in high school, but when I went to college, there was a rude awakening of having to work harder for the top spot. I gained a little weight and developed an eating disorder, bulimia. I thought it would keep me thin. It was my own little secret that I controlled, but even then, eventually it just controlled me. It stayed with me for over 13 years. I'm 5'10", with a healthy weight of about 155 pounds, but I got down to 115 pounds. I looked like a lollipop, someone with a really big head and a small body. When I was binging, I would probably eat 20,000 calories at a time. I would go from Burger King to Taco Bell to McDonald's all within 30 minutes. It was a self-destructive journey. It was terrible. I'm surprised I'm still alive. All my teeth are crowns now, and I lost my gallbladder. It was totally impacted with stones because of vomiting. I had a few heart issues going on as well. Still, I wanted to be like G.I. Jane, strong and muscular. My goal was to become a truly strong female. I was training Marines and needed to do what they had to do, but I couldn't be strong while binging and purging. Those were never compatible. So I started my journey of wanting to get healthy, and my fitness kept me mentally strong, kept me sane. I became healthy. I realized that food is not the enemy. That's how I say it was the first time. That's how I say it was the first time that fitness saved my life. The second time fitness saved my life was after a car accident in 2017. I was sitting in a standstill traffic in LA when another driver who was texting hit me from behind while going 55 to 65 miles an hour. I don't remember her hitting me, but I do remember calling 911 because I started getting tingling in my hands. The first thing I thought was, oh God, my neck. I had a disc collapse, and the disc had gone into my spine, meaning it was hitting all of the nerves. If I hadn't been as strong as I was, that kind of impact could have broken my neck. I don't think my body could have sustained that kind of force if I was still that weak, that frail girl from my past. The first doctor I went to said I would need a fusion surgery, meaning I would have lost all the movement in my neck. I wouldn't have been able to look left, right, up, or down. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my fitness, which is my best friend. This was the scariest part, and I didn't know if my ugly monster, which is what I call my eating disorder, would come back because fitness was my sanity. I went to another doctor who put in an artificial disc in my neck, and he was truly my savior. I had the best surgeon who understood why it was so important for me to be able to stay active. I came back full force within a year, and today it's like I've never had that neck injury. The journey with my neck led me to realize how important our spines are and how we need our joints and bones to be strong even as we get older. I tell people we just need to start moving for at least 45 to 50 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week. It doesn't have to be fitness classes, but you need to lift weights. We need to make our bones strong. If we can stay active and eat right, we've got it all figured out. I don't put people on diets because a lot of times diets aren't sustainable. I eat modestly, I eat clean, and I eat a ton of vegetables. I eat the good carbs like sweet potatoes and brown rice. I don't eat a lot of red meat, but I do eat a lot of chicken and fish. Raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, watermelons are my go-to fruits. I don't ever keep myself from anything at all. If I want a piece of candy, I know how to do it moderately. I cheat on Mexican food, which is my favorite, every week. Fitness is still one of my biggest passions today. It helps us think better and cleaner, and it brings us an empowerment. I want people to realize that you can go through anything in life, you can come back stronger from it. It doesn't have to be a setback. The last one I want to read today is a story from 2020 by Samantha Martin. The gym saved my life. We'll get after this one quick. This is how the gym saved my life after cancer treatments. A year before my cancer diagnosis, I found my one true love, the gym. I went through a bout of depression. I was not sure where my life was headed or what I truly wanted to do. I had dropped out of university because I knew that type of schooling was not for me. I felt like a failure while all my friends pursued their degrees. Overall, I was just stuck in a rut. I didn't know what to do with my life. Looking back, I was just an 18-year-old girl who was searching for herself. At that time, I joined my local gym and instantly fell in love. My days weren't complete until I had finished my workout. I fell in love with weightlifting, and for an hour or two a day, the mountain of depression that was on my shoulders was lifted. I became strong both physically and mentally. Ironically enough, it was because I had gotten in such good shape and lost a substantial amount of weight that my doctors found out I had a cancer called neuroblastoma. I was having all the classic symptoms of gallstones and gallbladder attacks, excruciating pain whenever I would eat fast food or anything greasy or fried. This is a common side effect with weight loss. The pain would start in my ribs and shoot all the way up my back into my shoulders. My family doctor ordered an ultrasound. Sure enough, there were gallstones, but there was also many tumors in my abdomen. Thanks to my weight loss triggering my gallbladder, my cancer was found. It's cliche to say the gym saved my life, both from the depression and cancer, but it truly did. The gym has become my safe haven, the place I come to escape all of life's uncertainties. Even if it's for a brief period of time, I had to go through multiple surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation, and stem cell transplant. After treatments, it took me several years of getting back on my feet. I became so weak throughout my treatments that I could not even stand or walk or go to the bathroom without assistance. I could barely lift my head in the mornings, let alone lift weights in the gym. I was heartbroken that all my hard work to build up my strength and build a strong body had been taken away because of my cancer. I was weak and frail. Once I was given a green light to start weight training again, I had one mission in mind: get stronger than I had ever been before my cancer treatments. I started from the ground up, teaching myself how to balance and walk again without assistance. At first, I could barely lift a 5-pound dumbbell without getting winded. Week after week, month after month, I trained. I spent countless hours back in the one place where I felt safe. The gym was my home. 9 years has passed since the first set foot in my small hometown gym, and I'm more proud of myself now than I was before my cancer journey. I can squat and deadlift with over my own body weight. I can also run so many kilometers without stopping or for a break. I hike every summer. I ride my bike again. I may still feel broken most days because everything cancer has taken from me, but when I step foot in the weight room, I feel more alive than ever. I'm strong, and cancer will never take that away from me. I often get asked from other survivors how I got back into fitness despite the challenges. Here are some tips. Start slow. It's important to remember that your body has been through a lot. In most cases, you'll not have the same stamina, physical ability you had pre-cancer. It may take a while to build up your strength again, but you can get there. Don't beat yourself up. You are brave for even wanting to become more physically active. Make small goals, achieve them one at a time, and be gentle with yourself. Find an exercise program that you enjoy and works with your limitations. Perhaps treatments have created some obstacles for you where you cannot perform certain activities. Try finding other forms of physical activity that work within your limits. Or perhaps maybe you don't like the same type of exercise you did pre-cancer. Try something new, something that you'll be able to stick to and enjoy. Put your health first. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Exercising is a priority. Weightlifting is beneficial for so many reasons. As a woman who has undergone chemotherapy and radiation, I was put into premature menopause, which is the case for many women. Weight-bearing exercise have many benefits, such as strengthening your bones, which helps during menopause where bones become brittle. Be mindful of what you consume. It's important to be aware of what foods you're putting into your body. Exercise is only a part of living healthy. The rest happens in the kitchen. Try to heal your body from the inside out with nutritious foods. So again, that story was by Samantha Martin. Hopefully, I've come out inspired by a bunch of these. Hopefully these inspire some stories from you as well. Kind of get you thinking, hey, do you know somebody who would love to share their story or has aspiring story? I want to make a collection of stories at the beginning of 2025 of people who have had fitness save their life or change their life for the better. I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday. We'll talk to you all next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, like it, rate us, so that other people can see this as well. Our biggest goal is to help people move throughout their entire lives. We want to see healthier, happier people. Happy Thursday.